Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another edition of our webinar series, Inside Immigration. Unfortunately, Stephen Green is unable to attend today's session. However, we are joined by our amazing panelist, Sonia Sidhu, who will provide us with the latest developments in Canadian immigration. Please feel free to ask any questions via the questions icon at the top of your screen, and we will do our best to address them at the end. If the panelist does not get to your question, you can contact them through the information provided on screen right now. And with that being said, I'll hand things over to Sonia.
Thank you, Eve. Okay, well, welcome everybody. We'll start off with the simple and easy express entry and OINP draws. We do see quite a bit of movement in the OINP. We've had about 3 draws this month already. February 6th, we had a human capital draw for healthcare workers. And you'll see like the upper cap of that was a 430 cutoff, which is really lining up with express entries cutoff. And then on February 8th, we had an international student draw, general, tech, and healthcare. And we also had another tech draw for human capital stream. And the cutoff was 489. So you're seeing a lot of these streams are being cut off in the upper limit that are really lining up with express entry, which was something we should expect to see going forward. In terms of express entry, we have had also January 31st, February 1st, and February 13th as a draw. You'll see the trends are very similar in what we've been seeing in the last little while. French-speaking draws are at a lower CRS score. There was about 7,000 people drawn into the French proficiency stream this month. And in terms of general draws, we're still seeing in the high mid like 500s. 535 was the draw yesterday, which is a little bit lower than what we had on January 31st. So hopefully the trend is going downwards and to maybe the lower 500s or, maybe hitting the higher 400s, but it's the beginning of the year. Let's see where the trends go. If you're not making these cutoffs, then you really should be looking into, provincial nominations or how you can bring up your score, because we're probably not going to see a 100-point drop in the CRS, but let's see where the trends go. And if you can help yourself, you really should be helping yourself, because at this point, every point makes a difference. Okay, now the hot topic of the month is this study permit shakeup. We've seen a lot of changes in the study permit program, some announcements of changes. It all started at the beginning of this year when they had announced that the proof of funds requirement was pretty much being doubled from 10,000 to a little over 20,000 per year. And then on January 22nd, IRCC announced that they were going to seek to stabilize growth and decrease the number of international student permits issued in 2024 and effectively 2025. And what are they doing to stabilize this growth is the government is actually introducing intake cap. Now, the intake cap is working on various levels. The cap starts at a federal level. The federal then distributes it to provincial. It's weighted by population for the provinces. So you have a federal main cap, and then the provinces have a cap within the province. And then what the province is going to do is they're going to distribute the allocation amongst the designated learning institutions. So there isn't going to be this mad rush where everybody applies, and then all the people, like could be that Seneca got all that cap for the province. They are going to allocate designated learning institutions for their caps. These caps don't apply for minors, so elementary or secondary students, master's or postdoctoral degrees, and renewals. Now, implementing the cap is what they're going to do in terms of the attestation letters. So to implement these caps, they're reintroducing attestation letters from a province or territory. How these are going to be issued is really unknown yet, because no province has come out with their process, but they have been given until March 31st, 2024 to outline what that process is going to be. So effectively, as it starts now, with some minor exceptions, study permit applications are on pause until a province comes out with what they're doing for their processing of the attestation letters. Open spousal work permits are only available for international students in master's or doctoral programs. Spouses for international students in other levels of studies will no longer be eligible. We saw the UK shake this up at the end of last year. It seems like Canada is following similar guidelines as the UK did earlier. One good point out of the announcement was master's students are eligible for a 3-year postgraduate work permit, where before it was, hey, the amount of years you study is the amount of work permit you got. So a lot of masters were 1-year permit. So they would only get a 1-year work permit, which was not in line with what reality of life was. So these measures are in play for 2 years. It's a temporary measure. It will be revisited at the end of 2025. So let's see what this year holds. We kind of have to hold tight until we see what the attestation program looks like, and then we should really have more updates and see the movement of these study permits. Second thing we want to talk about is language tests. So there's a new approved language test. It's the PTE core test. Pearson test for English is now being accepted by RCC. This test is for economic and business class streams. Don't make the mistake of trying to use it for your study permit or direct study streams. My understanding is the first test was set on February 12th, so just a couple of days ago, and they are promising results in 2 days. So those people should really be receiving the results today. So let's see how it goes. This testing facility is in 117 countries, and in Canada, there's 25 testing locations. So if you need to book, you can look into this. I did look online, I believe. The next available test was February 28th at this point. So they are booking up. So if you need to get in, write your test, book ahead of time. You can go online, you can book your test, and so you can lock it in. The last thing we want to talk about today is this digital nomad. There seems to be some movement in regards to this announcement that was made in June 2023 for Canada's tech talent strategy. So in the summer, there was talks about issuing open work permit for tech workers and promoting Canada as a destination for digital nomads. Now, let's not get confused. Digital nomad, the definition has been around for a long time. But in today's landscape, it is coming up a lot more. And now we're seeing that IRCC is actively posting about it. So they are going about outlining what it is, maybe making it clearer for individuals of, hey, do they qualify as a digital nomad? Now, digital nomad is someone who can perform their work remotely anywhere in the world. So what they would do is they would enter as a visitor to Canada for up to 6 months, and they can perform their job remotely for their foreign employer. And if they then have a job offer in Canada, they can seek to get a work permit for that Canadian employer. So it seems like, you know, at this point, there might be a push to get this talent into Canada, promoting of the digital nomad policy. We'll get the talent to Canada, and then hopefully this talent will then lock in jobs in Canada. So let's see where it goes. I mean, let's not forget, like, there was a couple other things in June that was announced. It was particular options IRCC was considering for work permits, employer-specific work permits for up to 5 years for workers designated to work in a company that has been identified by the government, or open work permits for up to 5 years for highly skilled workers in select in-demand occupations. So keep in mind, that's an announcement. We don't know how it's going to play out. So let's see where the future lies in the year coming. Alex Cole, who is a partner at the firm, will be posting about this in detail. She'll be doing some detailed analysis. So keep an eye out for that. She would be posting before the end of this month. But that's basically it for the review we have today. Let me see if there are any questions. So I don't see any questions, so we could cut it off. But if you do have any questions or you want more information, feel free to reach out to us directly.
Yeah, so that's thank you everyone for attending today's webinar, and I'd like to give a big special thank you to Sonia for sharing her expert knowledge with us today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us, and if you'd like to discuss today's topics in more detail, please reach out to book a consultation. You can reach out using the details on screen right now, and I encourage all of you to sign up for our e-alerts and follow us on social media to keep up to date with the latest developments inside Canadian immigration. And that's also when you can find out when Alex Cole will be posting that blog post. All right, thanks so much. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.